It's very few times when you stump both of us. I don't know if I'm familiar with that one either.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, there's no award or anything like that. But it's
I think
brownie
I should
points.
get this award right here.
Yeah. Hello, welcome to another edition of Popcorn Bucket Lists here, and this week we have a very special guest. 2 weeks in a row. I don't know if we've ever had a 2 week in a row special guest thing. We try to spread that out a little bit more.
I don't think we have. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
But
You're breaking records here.
Yeah, there we go. Joining us today is Soraya Cheadle, one of the members of the SMSU Theater production Pride and the Prejudice, premiering in the near future here, November 12th. This is a pretty big show here. Jane Austen's 250th birthday was this year.
It's coming up still in
December.
Up?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And she wrote Pride and the Prejudice way back in the day, so perfect timing here, obviously, to put this production here together and everything like that. But I guess the main question here is, so what exactly? What's your role, or what are you contributing putting together this production here, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, I'm doing a couple things. So I am acting in it. So I play Mrs. Reynolds, which is Darcy's housekeeper. Okay. So I get to give a tour of the house kind of thing. But then I also am acting as the dramaturge for this production. So I gave a little presentation at the beginning of before we kind of really delved into the show about the background and history of Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen, some of the time period, that kind of stuff.
So ultimately, you are the perfect person to have here on the show today, because we're going to talk a little bit about the time period and everything this is set in for opening spotlight and everything. But did you find it? I know you've been a student here in the past. You've been in some various productions in the past here as well, and so I know you know your way on acting and all that. But did you find it a little bit more difficult juggling, kind of doing that job and then also memorizing the lines, doing the rehearsals, and all that sort of stuff? I
got lucky because I'm not in. Mrs. Reynolds was a pretty small part. I mean, we have 33 people in this cast, which is huge for a straight play, especially musicals. You have that number pretty often, but straight play, that's a lot. So luckily, I have a pretty small scene, and then I'm giving a tour, so it all comes really naturally. So let's walk this way. I'm talking about the windows. So my lines are relatively easy to manage. But, and then because I've done dramaturgy for other shows here, then that kind of fell in naturally. So it's been fun to balance a couple of different things. And then I'm also helping out sewing costumes in the costume shop. So it's fun to get involved
multiple hats here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you see yourself maybe doing something like that with a bigger role later on, or do you think this was a pretty good balance?
This has been a pretty good balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
I mean, if I was a student and this was what I'm doing full time maybe, but I got other jobs.
Yeah,
so.
Fair enough. Yep. What was one of your favorite aspects of the production here so far? I know you mentioned you're working a little bit in costumes, but you've also researched a lot of the background. What's been one of your favorite parts of it? Yeah, my favorite part for sure has been just engaging with Jane Austen again. I fell in love with her when I was 12. First time I watched Sense and Sensibility, my mom and I and all of my siblings, we would watch that movie pretty religiously. And so it's just been fun to celebrate Jane Austen, the 250th, and doing the research was definitely my favorite part. I was like, I don't know how much I'll have to talk, Sheila, when I do the presentation. Then I was like, I have lots to say. You went from, we'll get 5 minutes into it. We're going to have to cut some stuff here.
Yeah, I was like, all right, we got to go fast. We got other people here on the docket. But yeah.
What is one thing you think the audience will most appreciate about this show in general? What's something you kind of would use to draw people into it?
Honestly, I think the size of the cast is really fun to watch. You have so many different characters in this, and everybody's just doing an incredible job. There's the person who plays Caroline Bingley is the sassiest, and I love her so much. But then we have a really cute Jane and Mr. Bingley, and they're just so cute, and we love them. So we just have such a wide variety, and it's a classic love story. So it's great.
Have you ever been a part of this large of a cast before, or even at SMSU, or in general at all? Or
I have as a musical, not as a play.
Okay.
So it's definitely hard. There are still some people's names where I'm like, what's your Jenny? Name? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So that's been interesting, especially because I'm only in Act 2, and so there are a couple nights when I'm not in Act 1, and then But yeah, so this is definitely the biggest cast, and I know Sheila's like, this is a lot of costumes to sew.
I gotta imagine just blocking everything was
yes.
a nightmare, probably.
Yeah, and there are a couple. Obviously, this is the time of the country ball and dances, or whatever. And so we have a couple big dance scenes, and we just kept having to move the stage, or the tables and chairs back and back because we're like, we need more room.
Need a little more room.
Dance.
Just back it up a little bit.
Yeah, and then we're like, oh, now we should even more. Yeah.
You know, just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. We get them out of there.
Yeah. No one gets to sit or eat at all. Yeah.
It's one of those parties. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, that sounds awesome. That kind of fascinates me, having all those moving parts and everything like that. So that'll be kind of fun to see. So, we'll talk a little bit more about that and everything. But yeah, Pride and Prejudice, set in kind of the 19th century, 1800s. So that is going to be the subject for today's opening spotlight here. As in preparation of Pride and Prejudice stage production, we're going to talk about other movies and stuff like that are set around that same time period, to try and get a little bit of context, get people a little bit into the mindset here, maybe just kind of put them in what it was like in that time period in general here. So we're going to focus on 3 general categories. These are kind of ones I wanted to focus on here. The wardrobe, which I think is kind of interesting. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Just kind of the time period, the setting in general. What's a movie or TV show or anything like that we think kind of shows what it was like in that time period, and then just our favorite in general, the one that we kind of like the most when we're kind of looking through all these and like, yep, that's one of my favorite ones just to watch here. We'll kind of end on that one. But you said you are kind of working on the costumes a little bit here, so let's start with wardrobe a little bit. Do you want to kick us off? What is one movie set in the 1800s that you think kind of best represents the wardrobe of the time?
All right. The one that came to mind was this movie called Ammonite. Have you heard of Ammonite?
Ammonite? I don't know if I have.
Kate Winslet and Saoirse Ronan. It is, the main character is Mary Anning. So she is a fossil hunter in southwest England. She's actually the basis for the seashells by the seashore.
Oh, that's where
that's where
came
she
from?
comes from. It's from Mary Anning, because she got all these fossils. She's like one of the first paleontologist kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's incredible that she's a woman doing this, right? Which was uncommon at that time period. But the costumes in it are just beautiful. They're spot on. It's set in the 1840s, 1830s. I can't quite remember. So a little bit later than what ours is.
Yeah.
But you definitely have the long flowy skirts, lots of different layers, very structured, all that kind of stuff, where you definitely have that in Pride and Prejudice as well, where you have layers and the structured corset and very definitive silhouettes.
Very good.
That's cool.
It's very few times when you stump both of us. I don't know if I'm familiar with that one either.
Yeah.
So, there's no award or anything like that. But it's
I think I should
points.
get this award right here.
Yeah, ceremoniously. Yeah.
Ceremoniously.
That's like our only thing we have for Oscars time period for set decoration. So, very good one there. And it's I love hearing the origin story. This is a total side note here, but I love hearing origin stories of like sayings and whatever, because it's like they got to start somewhere.
Yep.
But that makes total sense and everything. So, Mr. Meyerberg, why don't you let us know what's your pick for this category?
So for my pick, I went with Guillermo del Toro's Foreshadowing. His take on Crimson Peak. It's got Tom Hiddleston. Not Rebecca Ferguson. She's got red hair. Her name's escaping me right now. But I love this because first off, any time you get a Guillermo del Toro movie, there's always a little bit of mystery around it. There's a little something going on. But I think the way he does costuming, I think the way he does practical effects, I love all of that. And then in this, I think Tom Hiddleston has a really nice suit that I really liked. And the females have some great dresses. When you think of that time period, this is kind of the movie that I think of right away. And I really like Guillermo del Toro, so that's one.
The only Guillermo del Toro movie I've seen is the claymation Pinocchio.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
It was really good.
I think you're thinking of Jessica Chastain, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Just want to clear that one up there.
Yeah, I want to say Rebecca Ferguson, but I know it's not her. So for some reason, that's in my head.
So for my pick, I actually had like 2 alternatives because I thought for sure you two would take my first 2 here. So I'm glad we're spreading out a little bit more than I thought it would be. I'm just gonna quick throw out there Les Miserables because I feel like that one that is such kind of a gritty movie and everything like that.
Yep.
And I feel like if you do kind of look at both some of the suits, the dresses, and all that, they're not pristine. They look like they've been through some stuff and everything like that. And I feel like there was a little bit of work to kind of put them through that. I mean, it was the French Revolution, one of the tougher times in the world there. I feel like those costumes are going to go through some stuff, I feel like, for everyone. So I just felt like just kind of looking at that, I just kind of noticed that. And I felt like that was kind of a little attention to detail that I feel like kind of need to be spotlighted there. So I don't know. I was honestly, I'm surprised I didn't get to my third alternative there, but we'll save that for another time, I suppose. Okay. But let's move on to just kind of the general setting, the general time period and everything like that. Ryan, do you want to start us off with this one here? What's your pick?
Yeah, one of my favorite movies, There Will Be Blood. It's got Daniel Day-Lewis set in the oil fields. Is it in Texas? I don't know if it's in Texas, but it's in the oil fields. And it gives a great look of, I think, life at that time. You are following working men and some things that are legal and some things that are not legal, and how they kind of interacted with the country and with, not with the country, but with like the environment around them. And it's a fantastic movie. Unbeatable acting. It's a great movie.
Little Boston, California.
Oh, I don't know why I was thinking. Oh, I was thinking oil. That's why I was thinking Texas.
Okay, so it's a fictional town. I'm just curious why you come up with the name Little Boston for a town in California.
That's actually a great point.
Like, you could name it anything you want, and you called it Little Boston.
They probably moved from Boston all the way across.
Yeah, maybe. There's got to be an Easter egg or something there with that. But
there's a Little Canada in Minnesota, is there not?
I mean, but like you can look at northern Minnesota and kind of feel like it's kind of Canada. There's nothing California that makes me think Boston.
No.
At all.
Nothing.
Except for when Ben Affleck's in LA. That's about it. That's the only time.
Was Wahlberg in the movie?
I don't think so.
Nope.
No, I don't think any of the Wahlberg. No Wahlbergs, no Afflecks or anything like that. So we'll have to look into that. We'll research into that one later.
Yeah.
Why was it Little Boston?
Why was it Little Boston?
There's got to be a reason. The one I'm going to go with here for setting, I mainly focused on this one because I kind of wanted to focus on the entertainment that was available at the time, or lack thereof. I feel like, especially in the early 1800s. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to talk about the aeronauts. For the most part, this is a pretty good movie, I believe, based on a true story, basically about this like young meteorological scientist who teams up with this like famous aviator who goes up in hot air balloons because he's trying to get like new weather data and all that sort of stuff. And she's trying to like break the highest altitude record and everything like that. But the thing that I found kind of crazy about this is it really is just a performance between them two, just in this hot air balloon. So I always like contained movies like that. Yeah. But at the very beginning, you got this huge crowd as like a send-off and everything like that. And I'm like, this crowd is going to see the first 15 seconds of this entire mission here. But a whole crowd came out to see it and everything. That's how little of entertainment there was back then.
Yeah.
That's how desperate you were for looking for anything to find joy in. Like, people stand by and watch, space shuttles launch, even though you're only going to see so much of it. But there's still like cameras and stuff, so you can continue to watch it. Yeah. Here they they watch them lift off in a hot air balloon. That's it. And then everyone just kind of goes their separate ways and everything. But they make a whole show out of it, I feel like.
Part of it is the novelty, though, too. Because, it's like, wait, we're going up into the sky? Like, what is this?
I get that. I just find it crazy how they get this whole crowd and they're going to see, like, the initial takeoff, which is just them untying rope. And that's it.
Like, bye.
Bye. And then they're like, okay, I guess that's, do we go back to the farm? I guess we go back to the farm now, right?
Yeah.
I think that's
time to go back to work.
Yeah, back to it here, folks. But overall, great performances from Eddie Redmayne, and now the female lead is escaping me too here. Our memories today are not good. Off. This is bad today.
It's a weird day today, though. It's been a busy day.
It's the time change. Just blame it on the time change.
Yeah, we can still blame it on it.
Yeah.
By the time people see this, will be Thursday, but this is still Tuesday. We are still within that realm, I think, window here. So,
like, I should be home eating dinner already.
I should. Yep. And I should be changing diapers right now, getting ready for supper. Yeah.
Felicity Jones, that's who it was. Eddie Redmayne and Felicity Jones. They're in this movie pretty much like 90% of the time, just them two. So that was a pretty good performance piece there. But Wrapping up the setting category here, do you want to tell us what your pick here is, Sarai? What's one you're thinking about?
The one that I thought of was Master and Commander, Russell Crowe.
Far Side of the World.
Yeah, especially because, and a little plug here for Pride and Prejudice again. Pride and Prejudice is set with the some of the main characters are in the regiment as well. So they're probably, none of them are actually actively in the war. They're just kind of stationed there. Mm-hmm. But so it kind of has a war feel in this show as well, because they all come in uniform sometimes. So cool. I love that. And Master and Commander is just great. Russell Crowe's great. Yeah. I have a huge crush on Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe's the man.
Any movies he's in, like, I'm down.
Yeah.
Les Mis.
You're gonna like our weekly preview then later. This is not gonna be the last time we talk about Russell Crowe here today.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
we could talk about Russell Crowe.
I would not have bet we would talk about him 3 times, but
we'll keep a tally.
Yeah, we'll keep Russell Crowe point tally. We're at 3 right now. That's the highest it's ever been. But let's move on to the number 1 recommend here, the one that we just kind of love in general. I'll just kick us off here, and I'm not going to talk too much about this movie because, spoiler alert, I have a feeling I'm going to talk about it next week as well. That's a little preview for next week, I suppose. I'm talking about The Prestige, one of Christopher Nolan's movies. Did I steal your pick?
No, I just
love
that movie.
I would have felt really bad if I stole your pick then. Well, feel free to jump in there. What is it about The Prestige that you love as well?
It's just one of those movies that, like, I did not see the ending coming, and it was just... when you go back and watch it again, you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much foreshadowing, but you don't see it that first time through because.
See, and I unfortunately had the ending spoiled for me before I had watched it. So, but even before that, to your point, I mean, there is foreshadowing when you're kind of watching, but at the same time, it's like, if I'm not looking for that, the 2 plot twists, I guess I should say here, there's technically 2, I would say. Essentially, probably, yeah. So if you're looking for it, you can kind of see it. But if you're like kind of sitting there, like knowing not looking for it, you're like, okay, I can. There's one that I think is a little bit more obvious, but there's the other one that was like, okay, I did not. They hid that one pretty well, I think, too. But double plot twists here. A great Nolan movie. I've said this before. He's one of my favorite directors of. Definitely all time for sure working right now. Mm-hmm. And this was like same year Batman Begins came out. So it was like him and Bale were on this roll, especially. And David Bowie. David Bowie is in this. And he's like great in it.
I do not remember that.
He's Tesla.
Oh.
Yeah. Because you don't think of David Bowie as that. You think of him as the singer. You don't think of him, even though he had acted in the past, it had been a minute. But it's David Bowie as Tesla there. So if you're a Bowie fan, check it out at the very least. So, but why don't you tell us your number 1 pick? What are you thinking here?
Part of me just wants to say Sense and Sensibility again, but I already talked about it. So I'll say Pirates of the Caribbean. Just because, like, you don't necessarily think of that as like a historical piece, but it is. Like, it's set in it might be late 1700s, but I'm gonna fudge it a little bit and say we can qualify because, again, just Jack Sparrow's an iconic character. That first movie is so great. Mm-hmm. Love everything about it.
Well, and I almost tried to do like a Western one, and I guess you can kind of say you kind of do with There Will Be Blood and everything like that. Yeah. But I really want to try to find a Western one because what I found very interesting when looking at this time period is you look over in England, it is very like ballrooms and gowns, and you look at America, it's Old West, shoot 'em up, and there was piracy, and that was going on all across the ocean and everything.
I always find it interesting, like when you can look up something like, oh, when this person was beheaded, or when this thing was happening in this place in the world, look at somewhere else in the world, and you'd be surprised that these 2 things are happening at the same time. It's like, that doesn't feel right. That feels like that should be way older than that, or not at the same time. And it's like, no, those 2 things are happening at the same time. Yeah. And it's weird to think about, but
the world is big, and the world is big. Yeah.
Mr. Marburg, why don't you wrap us up here as if this was one that I feel like I could have filled in for you before going into it, but I'm curious which version, actually, though.
I'm going with the 2024 version of Nosferatu. I absolutely love these films. I remember watching the black and white one when I was a kid, and it really stuck with me. And now that I was older and I got to watch Robert Eggers' vision of this one, and it was completely different. The Count Orlok is very time period accurate. The way he talked, his mustache, the clothing that he wore, the buildings. Like, they used some castles, and like all of that was so accurate, but it was also very different from the one that I originally saw. But this one, I would say, is more accurate to the timepiece that they're referring to. And I think this one, in my opinion, I enjoyed it more because of that. And Bill Skarsgård, amazing. Amazing. William Dafoe, anything with William Dafoe is just top tier. It's so good. And one of my favorite scenes is when the hand comes out over the town and the shadow goes over the town. It's so cool.
That was pretty cool.
So cool.
So those are just a couple of our favorites of movies set in kind of the 1800s, 19th century. Let us know some of your favorites in the comments down below. And, of course, to get even more sort of Victorian style into your life here, be sure to check out the SMSU Theater's production of Pride and the Prejudice. Again, that is opening night is November 12th at 7:30 p.m. Other performances are the 13th and 14th, also at 7:30 p.m., and then 2 opportunities to see it Saturday, November 15th, with the 2 o'clock p.m. matinee, and the other also at 7:30 p.m. And then the last chance to check this out will be Sunday at 3, Military Family Appreciation Day. I really like what you guys are doing with this. So all active military members, veterans, and their families receive free admission to that showtime. So make sure you check that out as well. Over at the SMSU Fine Arts Theater.
I don't believe in ghosts.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
But I do believe in spirits, so that's kind of a contradiction.
Do you want to listen to something that makes me upset?
Nope, I'm good. Red, did they have BLTs back in your day? You would love a BLT.
You saw it flicker, right? You saw it flicker.
It's flickering on enough. Oh! Time out, what?
Red, was that you? Did you mess with my GoPro, buddy?
That's the only time I've ever teetered on the fact that there might be a ghost.
But with that, let's move on here to the weekly preview, talk about some of the other movies coming out here this weekend. Another busy one here. Yeah, we had a couple busy weeks, then it was kind of an off week, gave us a little bit of a break, thankfully, and now it's a jam-packed weekend here. So it's nice because it's one of those where it's like, if you can't find something to be somewhat entertained by this week, you're just not that big of a fan of movies, I feel like. So let's break it all down for you here. Friday, November 7th, one of the big ticket items here, Predator Badlands, coming to theaters, rated R. A young predator is exiled from their clan, and this leads to them crash landing on a remote planet, some of the worst creatures in the universe. So they decide if they can kill the biggest creature there, then they could be welcomed back in. To be fair,
be a no from me.
Yeah, this is gonna be. Yeah, this is one of those you're either on board with the Predator universe or you're not, and everything like that. But I will say the trailer gives it away. There's not a lot of story here, but the action does look pretty good.
Yep. And that's the thing sometimes with the Predator movies. After the first, like, pretty much anything after AVP, just kind of Alien versus Predator. After that, it's kind of like, all right, just give me some action. I don't need the story. Just give me some action.
Well, and I really love in general where the Predator franchise is going right now. I mean, you had sort of that resurgence with Prey that came out, because then they were like, well, let's do kind of the same situation, but put in a different time period here. So we get a little bit different perspective, a little bit more of a challenge. Yep. And then they kind of did that. They had those 3 animated shorts or whatever, same thing there. So I kind of like what they were doing there. And now I really like what they're doing with this one, where it's like the Predator, this has always been the main villain. They're the hunter. Now they're becoming the hunted. The tables have kind of turned here. So I do like they're at least kind of keeping this franchise kind of fresh, at least.
Almost humanizing them a little more.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. Speaking of humanizing, one of the other characters in this, Ellie Fanning, who basically plays a humanoid Alexa in this movie.
Yep.
She's just kind of giving him like instructions the whole time here. So I don't know, easiest paycheck Ellie Fanning's probably gotten, because they just kind of got the mocap of the face, put it on later. Good day's work, I suppose.
You're good.
Also coming out this weekend, Christy. This one's also coming to theaters, based on the true story of real-life female boxer Christy Martin. This movie shows the highs that she experienced as well as the very, very lows, taking place all within kind of one decade there in the 1990s. I will admit, on the surface, this looks like kind of a run-of-the-mill boxer movie.
Yep. That's kind of the vibe that I got.
You got the underdog feeling, you fight, you win, you lose, you got to come back.
Yep. I didn't get to watch the full trailer. I've just seen a little teaser thing of it, and that's the exact same vibe I got. So I'm hoping there's something special that will set it apart, but
I do think there's more to it here. I feel like this is kind of similar to when the Smashing Machine came out. Obviously it was a fighter movie, but there was clearly a lot of internal personal demons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Similar here, but the demons are coming from her spouse, who is kind of a terrible, terrible person and all that, but doesn't seem like that at first. But then a lot of that starts showing as things get tougher and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's one of those where, the fight is in the ring, but there's also sort of that personal fight outside of the ring. And that's almost the tougher challenge here, so to speak. So, main star Sydney Sweeney in this one, going for one of her better performances that we've seen in a while here. I feel like she kind of took off with Euphoria, and now she's just been doing as many things as possible here, but none of them have really been challenging her as an actor, I feel like, personally. But unless there's one or two I've been missing. But
you mean that Spider?
Yeah, no, she was really going for it in Madam Web.
Madam Web, yeah.
Exactly. To be fair, she was the only one giving a somewhat good performance in that movie.
True.
But we don't even talk about Madam Web anymore. But are you a fan of boxing movies or true story movies at all? Or
I am a huge fan of true story movies. Yeah, I love the historical elements. The only boxing movie I can think of outside of Rocky is a Cinderella story. Cinderella story. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, Cinderella story is good.
Is that another Russell Crowe?
No,
who's that?
I'm pretty sure that Nick can look it up.
Hold up. Because it might be.
It might be.
Is it?
Okay, well, when I type in a Cinderella story, the first one that shows up is the Hilary Duff movie.
Also a classic, though. Chad Michael Murray.
Yeah, no disrespect to that.
Yes, it is Russell Crowe.
It is.
It is Russell Crowe.
That's probably why I watched it initially. Honestly.
But that's like what, 1920s?
Yeah, because it's Great Depression.
It's the Great Depression, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe even 1930s.
And Paul Giamatti's in there too, right? He's like the manager, I think.
I'm clicking in so many tabs here right now. Give me a minute.
I feel like it might not be Cinderella's story. I think it's something father. Cinderella's father. I don't know.
No, Giamatti's in it as well, yeah. But also Russell Crowe, Renée Zellweger.
Oh, yeah, Renée Zellweger.
It talks about James J. Baddock, supposedly washed-up boxer who returned to the spotlight to win the heavyweight championship of the world, directed by Ron Howard.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Yep. I think Ron Howard's an underrated director, so anytime I can bring him up.
Underrated? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He doesn't get talked about as much as he should as a director, I feel like.
Okay.
Also coming out this weekend is Die My Love. This one's coming straight to theaters here, also rated R. Not a great weekend for the kids, it looks like. This movie stars two leading actors that I didn't know I needed to see as two leading actors before, but we got Jennifer Lawrence working with Robert Pattinson in this one, who stars a married couple living in a remote house in the woods where they both seem to lose their sanity. Editor's note here, do not follow a Jennifer Lawrence character to the middle of the woods in a secluded house because you are guaranteed to lose your marbles.
Yeah.
First you had Mother, now you have this. I'm just saying, once is a coincidence, twice is a pattern.
Yep. I like that. That's funny. Robert Pattinson looks great. Jennifer Lawrence looks great. I'm excited to see this.
I can see them doing well opposite each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, as far as the trailer and from what I've read goes, there hasn't been great reviews, I think, as far as the story and everything like that. It kind of feels like it's one of those, like, look, we have the premise. We're going to get two awesome actors. We're going to put them in a room together, and we're going to let them act their pants off. We'll figure out the story later on and everything like that. And it feels like it kind of shows here as it's just like, okay, crazy things are happening because crazy. But I don't know. I think they're good enough where it does kind of justify checking it out here maybe. But also coming out here this weekend, we finally got to it. This will be really good for you here. Russell Crowe movie based on a true story. Not that chipper of a premise here, though, just forewarning.
Yeah.
Nuremberg, Also coming to theaters. You can kind of already tell where this is going.
I know where this is going, yeah.
Set right after World War II, this movie focuses on the Nuremberg trials, as the title suggests, and attempts to dive into the mind of pure evil and show everything leading up to the actual trials here. In case people don't know what these are, Ryan, do you want to kind of explain? I feel like you're a little bit more of the World War II nut here.
It's more, I could be wrong, but I want to say that it's more of the interrogation and information gathering before the actual trial started. And I'm super pumped. To be honest, I didn't even know that Russell Crowe, I didn't know they were making this movie until I saw the trailer, and I was like, Rami Malek's in this, Russell Crowe's in this. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Okay, I'm down for this.
I'm same with you. I had no idea. I had seen this poster like on a few movie theater websites or previewed other places. It wasn't until I clicked on the trailer that I was like, this is an amazing cast.
Yeah.
You got Crowe, you got Michael Shannon, I don't know if you mentioned him, John Slattery, Colin Hanks is in it as well. This movie did like no marketing.
Yeah.
Probably because they spent all their money on their actors. But
I'm hoping it's going to come out and be huge, and people and critics are going to love it. And I think they're hoping for that. I mean, it is getting close to now is when you start seeing some award type-ish movies come out. So
now we're in competing for the Oscar awards kind of season and everything like that. Yeah, but
very promising topic though. I'm very interested in that.
And Russell Crowe is playing.
Is he a good guy or a bad guy?
He's the bad guy. He's the main villain. Yeah.
Yeah. He's the guy they're essentially interrogating here in this one. So
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I'm super looking forward to this because again, I think a huge part of what the trailer kind of implies here is like you have the Rami Malek character. He's like the psychiatrist kind of talking to him and it's kind of like, how does someone justify all the evil things they did in their head? And you see Russell Crowe in this trailer and he's like, he sells it. He's like, these people back then were like, we did what we did and no regrets.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about and everything like that.
Yeah.
That this all happened in real life and everything. So definitely a tough watch, but for sure an important one to probably check out here. So yeah, I was very surprised when I saw this trailer. Yeah. Just how it's almost like they kept this one under wraps intentionally.
Yeah.
We don't want people to see this right away.
Yeah.
So an interesting marketing strategy. We'll see how that works out for them, I suppose. But we do got another based on a true story one here as well. This one way less of a known story, I feel like, though, as well. We got Sarah's Oil also coming out to theaters. This one is rated PG. Another movie based on a true story. This movie shows the tale of one of the first female African-American millionaires, Sarah Rector, who struck oil on her land and became one of the richest people in America basically overnight. She did all of this while she was only 11 years old. Yeah, let that sink in then for a minute. Yep. I'm trying to think, what was I doing when I was 11? What did I accomplish?
You were learning to go to the bathroom by yourself.
I feel like that happened before that. I'm hoping, I guess, but was that when it took? How long it took you? Or
maybe no comment.
Spin it on. You know, reverse card on you there. You try to come at me. This is some early 1900s interesting history here. I had no idea about this person and everything, but yeah, this was a real life person. I'm not going to get into all of the specifics here. I didn't have time to research this entirely, but basically she had like some Native American roots in her ancestors. And because there was like government sort of laws that were passed, she was basically gifted this land, but they gave her the really crappy land. So that way the white people could get the good land and everything like that. Little did they know, turns out one of the biggest oil deposits was on this land. So when she works with some other people to try and drill and everything like that, people try to take it from her. They have to fight back and all that sort of stuff. So,
and she does this all when she's 11.
She does this when she's 11, but she does get some adult help. But she like went out and like, at least in this movie, like went out and like made deals with these adults and was like, hey, you help me out with this, I'll give you part of the profit. I'll get some of it too. Super mature for her age, to put it like that lightly here. But movie stars Naya Dazeer Johnson. She's playing the young Sarah in this, as well as Zachary Levi, who gives, I'm going to say, not the best Southern accent I've ever heard, but he is also the producer of the movie, so I guess no one was going to be able to tell him say no on that one. Yeah. So that's my only knock on this one, is I feel like he's playing it almost too cheesy, and this is a very serious movie. But I feel like he thinks he's doing a good job.
Yeah.
I don't know. But still an interesting story for sure. We got any thoughts on this one here overall before we move on?
Good, classic, heartwarming movie.
Yeah.
Feel good, heartwarming movie.
But last but certainly not least, perfect timing here really to actually kind of wrap up our whole 1800s discussion here. It's just fun when some of these things fall into place, I feel like. You don't plan for these, but sometimes they just happen. Coming straight to Netflix here, Frankenstein. This is the Guillermo del Toro version of Frankenstein. 207 years after the original Mary Shelley classic was first published, this movie shows once again the story of Frankenstein and the monster he created. I feel like I got to bring this up here too. I want to bring this up as many times as I can. Frankenstein is not the name of the monster. I know we all know that here, but I try to tell people that Frankenstein's the name of the scientist. He is officially Frankenstein's monster. So I always feel like I got to clarify that here. And the reason why I do that is because...
Frankenstein.
Okay, tomato, whatever. I feel like I got to bring that up because I think my interpretation of the story has always been at least like, Frankenstein's monster's the monster. He's the thing to fear, whatever. But the question is, okay, who's really the monster here? Is it Frankenstein's monster, or was it Frankenstein who was recklessly playing with forces he probably couldn't control here and everything like that? And I think this movie's going to touch on that as well.
I think so too. And the monster looks not at all what you would imagine him to look like. I think it's going to look great. I think it's going to be awesome. Guillermo del Toro does a great job. His films are just great, and I'm excited for this one.
Did he just say a movie going straight to Netflix is going to be awesome?
I know. Ooh. You heard it here first, folks.
Oh, I didn't think something wrong with this movie. I got to figure out what it is.
Yeah, but you got to watch it then to find out.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I'm actually really excited to watch it.
I am interested to watch this. I am interested to see his take on who is the monster. That's an interesting question because I know a lot of people just say that the creature is, but man, Frankenstein has some issues.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But also, I think my personal take is I think there's something supernatural happening that kind of overtakes Frankenstein as he's creating it. So I don't think it's necessarily like he is evil. Something else is at play.
That's an interesting take too. I never thought of it that way, but I'd be most interested to see your thoughts on this one in general after you watch it, because considering how the first and only you said you've seen of Guillermo del Toro was Pinocchio, and similar to that movie is he took this character. When we think Pinocchio, you automatically think the Disney version and all that. Here it was, I don't want to necessarily say a fully more darker take, but it was definitely kind of a little bit more interesting take here. I don't know how much darker you can get with Frankenstein, but Guillermo del Toro is going to try, I suppose.
I can see him really leaning into that then, expanding the story like he did with the Pinocchio one.
Starring in this movie here, we got Oscar Isaac as Frankenstein himself. Mia Goth is going to be in this. Christoph Waltz and Jacob Elordi is going to be playing Frankenstein's monster here. As you kind of alluded to, Ryan, a different look to Frankenstein here. It's not big, green, flat top. He is larger and everything like that, but it is a different look as well.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I want to know what's underneath all the layers of fur.
Yeah.
Obviously,
and I haven't looked at any pictures. Like, I guess that's kind of what it looks like. That's just
okay. That actually feels more book accurate. To me, because he's supposed to be made out of dead body parts. Yeah. So he wouldn't have a flat head because we don't have flat heads.
Yeah, I never got that either.
I never got that. Yeah, or like the bolts in the side of the neck. You're like, I don't get it.
I always thought the bolts, I guess that was when he like does the lightning and like directly puts it in there, gets the electricity in him. That's what I always thought. But yeah, the flathead never made sense to me. Yeah. I wonder who started that, I feel like. But anyways, it's one of the most original pieces of science fiction, Frankenstein in general here and everything.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah. That's like the first reveal picture they did.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be a pretty good one here to check out. And I agree with you. The only way that this could be better is if it was released in the theaters, but beggars can't be choosers. Yep. So
this would be fun in the theaters too.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
This is okay, so this is what I don't get. It should have been released in theaters, and it should have been released on Halloween weekend.
Yeah.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago, how there was like nothing actually coming out in the weekend, and you tried to justify it like saying like, oh, they're trying to build up and everything like that. Yeah. That didn't work. This past weekend was the lowest weekend for a Halloween box office in 31 years, I read.
Yeah, well, it was on a Friday night. People don't.
But there was nothing new to check out that Friday night. If it was something new, they would have done it. You would have released this movie in theaters, would have been a good weekend.
I agree with you. I think it would have been a good weekend to do this. But I'm curious as to why it's going to Netflix.
Well, because Netflix bought Guillermo del Toro, and that's why we had Pinocchio, and now it's like a multi-movie deal here.
Yeah,
so
but
that's the real answer, but...
Yeah, I don't like that.
I know you don't like it, but you got to deal with it.
I don't like when movies go to Netflix or any streaming service.
Yeah, it's any streaming.
I like them when they
He's not particularly just against Netflix. It's just any streaming service.
If you're a real film, you go to a movie theater. If you're not a real film, you go on YouTube or Netflix or Hulu or Awards Plus. I don't know. You're still gonna love this movie. I hope so. I think I will. I just might have to write a letter to
the greatest plot twist is if this actually ends up being a romantic comedy as well. You would blow your top.
I would.
Frankenstein falls in love with his monster.
This is it's actually a Secret Bride of Frankenstein movie. Yeah. They just hid that. That's what Mia Goth's character is going to be or something.
Hopefully, maybe that'll be the second one.
It's like how the Joker was a musical.
Hey,
I didn't mind that.
We didn't mind that. You're talking to the wrong people on that one.
I actually.
I'm not saying you minded it. It was just kind
You're rage baiting the wrong people up there, Carter.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying you didn't like it. I'm saying it was just an interesting way to go about the movie. You know what I mean? Frankenstein rom-com is an interesting way to go about the movie.
I don't know if it's a good way to go about it.
He said interesting. He didn't say good. He said interesting.
All right, fair enough.
All right, that's all we got to talk about here with this one here. Let's wrap up this episode like we usually do with some number one recommends. Soraya, do you want to kick us off here? What's something you've watched, read, seen recently that you think other people should check out?
I will share. I watched recently The Residence on Netflix. Have you guys seen that one?
That's
or heard of it? It's the
hospital office kind of thing.
No. Oh. This is it's a whodunit. Someone is killed at the White House, and it's on Netflix. So it's a TV series.
Yep.
It's very, very like kind of a classic whodunit, and the detective is kind of like a Sherlock Holmes type character. You have to like really suspend your disbelief sometimes because you're like, okay, this person was killed in the White House. They would like be locking everything down, taking fingerprints from every surface everywhere and whatever. Yeah. And you kind of have to be like, okay, it's fine. That's not like what this is. Mm. But it's very interesting. It's very funny. And I really liked that.
Okay.
But not funny in like we're trying to be a comedy, just in some of like the way that they pan, almost like The Office, where like you get Jim's cutting to the camera, like we get that type of comedy.
Okay. Interesting.
That's good.
But yeah, to be fair, hopefully if a crime does happen in the White House, there's enough like security cameras there that we'd solve it pretty quickly. I would hope.
Yeah.
I hope we never have to find that out, but
I don't know if they would, because it happens like in the residential areas, and I don't know if there would be. I would assume so still, but like still like privacy for like the family members.
I still always just assumed there was like a security guard at every corner.
Yeah.
Call me paranoid, maybe. I don't know. I kind of hope it is. Whatever. Anyways, I don't run security anywhere, so what do I know? But that's a good one for sure. Ryan, what do you got here this week?
Unfortunately, with it being Halloween last weekend, I haven't really watched much. I didn't get to watch anything new or exciting. Yeah. I did get to watch about half of Puppet Master. If you've seen Puppet Master.
What's that about?
I'm not gonna
spoil it or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll just cut all this then. Yeah. Let's just start on 3. Oh yeah. Do you want to hand it off to Carter?
Yeah,
we've done that before.
So this week I did not really get a chance to watch a whole lot. With it being Halloween and trick or treating and scaring children. I did.
Yeah, but you do that every week.
I do it even more this past week. I do a lot.
Put it in the overtime.
That's right. So I'm gonna hand it off to my man upstairs, Carter.
I'm gonna go this week. I'm gonna go with a show called Adolescence. It's on Netflix. Another Netflix show. But I find it really interesting. Each episode is one shot, like the entire time. So it's just shot as if it's one shot. Similar to like I think it's 1917, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's just I think it's a really cool way to go about it, and each episode is a different day. Like first episode is day 1, and it's one shot the entire time. So I don't know. It's like a mystery type of crime show, I think. So yeah, check it out. It's on Netflix. It's kind of a newer-ish one.
Cool beans.
I second that recommendation. It's very good.
We got Residents and Adolescents, both ending in ints.
And on Netflix.
And on Netflix. Yeah, we got a theme going here today. That's kind of cool. But that's going to do it for us here on this episode of Popcorn Bucket List. Once again, thanks so much, Shirai, for stopping by here, talking about Pride and Prejudice and 1800s movies in general and all that sort of stuff. Again, as a reminder, be sure to check out the SMSU Theater's production of that show here opening night, November 12th at 7:30 p.m. Other performances happening around that time on the 13th, 14th, and 15th, again, all at 7:30. And then 2 matinee performances. One happening November 15th at 2 p.m. and the other at November 16th at 3 o'clock p.m. Any final thoughts for people thinking about going to the show here at all? Or
there is also a high tea on Saturday afternoon if you're interested in that. So, get in the mood. Can have some tea.
Yeah.
All right, pretty cool. Yeah, it puts you a little bit more into the vibe, into the setting there a little bit too. So
yeah, this is a good time for it too, because I just think of England and I think of tea, and that just makes me want to have a cup of tea when it's all cold outside. So.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, especially this Saturday. It's supposed to get pretty cold this Saturday.
Yeah.
I heard could get some snow. Not here. A little bit south of us.
I almost jokingly, we have like a little snowman figurine that I sometimes put in winter. I almost jokingly put that on the desk just to kind of troll people.
Yeah,
but I was like, we'll wait a week.
Remember, at the time of recording, we still got like 4 or 5 days till it's here. But by the time you're watching it, you might be watching it, and it might have moved, and we might be getting snow.
Hopefully not. But anyways, for myself, Shirai, Ryan, and Carter, we'd like to thank you so much for watching, and we will see you at the movies.